was thinking about starting a little video channel here. Thinking of calling it Mike Talks, but there's probably about 100 of them. So, anyway, it's just me talking. Anyhow, let's see, which means I need a shower. Anyway, nice day here in South Carolina. Driving towards Memphis, Tennessee. A couple states away. Anyway, I was just thinking about stuff. Driving along. Thinking about what should I talk about? And then, why would anybody want to listen? It's me. But I'd rather say something than keep my mouth shut. I always like that that Chinese heck, I don't even know. Chinese philosophy, Kung Fu, Buddha, hell, I don't know who it is, but they say it's better to keep your mouth shut than to open it. Oh, better to keep your mouth shut and be considered a fool than to open it and prove it. So, anyway, it's all right. I'm sure I'm going to say stuff all the time that's going to be me sticking my foot in my mouth. But hey, you know, how to save you the bother, right? So, anyway, I don't know what I really want to talk about. I just thinking I haven't posted in a while, and I thought maybe I'd do so. I figure if I do it all the time, somebody will block me. That's all right. I don't have to please everybody. I don't even have to please myself. So, sorry, I was checking out a billboard for a driving job. Well, I realized I was going to be doing this stuff as long as I'm doing it. I've been doing the over-the-road thing, and in a few months it'll be 10 years. And worked a couple of years, kind of really wet behind the ears, a little bit more than a couple of years, but I mean out here. Drove a lot. But anyway, driving out here, wet behind the ears. Drove for JB Hunt when I first came out. It was a job. They hired me, you know, and learned a bunch of stuff. And I mean, it was a lot like my early driving years, driving gravel truck, but it wasn't rocket science or anything. But there's things you need to know and things you need to do and all that stuff. And anyway, afraid to say I was fired from that company. They actually did me a favor. They really did. It was a $11,000 a year raise with the next over-the-road company I went with. There's a little brief spot in there where I flatbedded for a while. I liked it, but my boss didn't like me. He wanted me to drive with my foot flat on the floor in a truck that run 100 miles an hour or better, and I wasn't going to do that. Anyway, so for the, I can't say the last 7 years, I mean the next 7 years after that, I worked for a company was actually owned by an outfit out of Canada, Transport America. And 7 years, it's like the longest I've continuously worked at any company. It's like, I know there's people out there that got 30, 40 years in the same job. It's like, holy buckets, If I would have realized time was going to fly so fast, I might have tried to find something like that. Hindsight's a mother, what. And anyhow, yeah. But if I would have realized I was going to do this over-the-road thing for 7 years, I think I would have done the whole lease purchase thing and bought a truck from whatever company, Transport America, that I was working for. But it was like 2 years ago that I'm sitting there going, holy buckets, you've been working for this company 4 years. You should have bought a truck. You had it paid for. Now I'm realizing it was my 5th year. And anyhow, and then this and that and the other thing. And now I don't even know what I should be doing. The economy's always going up and down and all around. And anyhow, I think I'm making this guy I'm driving next to nervous. And I had a guy who thinks he's a hot rod by taking off my front bumper. But that's all right. It's not my truck. I'm sorry. It's like the problem with getting in an accident out here, even if it ain't your fault, is it's like, okay, we got to set, we got to have you towed, because these things are made out of plastic, so they kind of fall apart pretty fast. You don't want to get hit by one because it's going to do some damage to you, But the parts fall off of them pretty easy too. These are pretty easy too. Anyway, yeah, so I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I know the economy goes up and down and all around, and there's clamoring for drivers. Walmart is actually starting their own school to train students, and they used to require you to have 3 years of experience before they'd hire you or consider hiring you. Used to be you couldn't have any accidents or violations, and it's like where's some paper and knock on that. Thank you, God. That took some time to get my head out of my butt and start realizing, when you do something for a living, you gotta keep your nose clean. But what? Oh, we're talking about Walmart. Anyway, but I guess they've been advertising on TV. I don't watch TV. I watch a shitload of videos, YouTube and all that stuff. And of all things to watch, I like watching guys play video games and sit there talking their way through it. There's this guy named Block 9. He's from New Jersey, and every once in a while you'll hear his accent and his the things he says. And there's guys from United Kingdom, they got their British accent and stuff. And anyhow, I listen to a ton of audiobooks. I mean, I was looking at my phone the other day, and it's got 752 titles on it. It's like, holy cow, that's a lot. Of course, I haven't listened to them all. Some of them, I I look at the description and I say, hey, that sounds like a great audiobook to listen to, you know. And then I'll grab 10 more books because they're free. There's a free audiobook codes.com, and I've actually got some pretty decent books out of there. They give away a certain amount of books. Usually it's like 30 books or less for the United Kingdom, and then the same for the US. And yeah, you can get some pretty decent books. I try to leave a great review, even if the book's a yawner. I'll leave 5 stars, but I might tell them what I thought of the book, you know. But I ain't gonna ruin their rating because I didn't like the book, you know. Everybody has their own opinions, you know. But, yeah, I listen to a ton of books. I love sci-fi and what else? Sci-fi, science fiction. It looks like everybody's coming to a stop. I'll put on my flashers here to let people know behind me that I'm a great big block. And let's see, which is a fast lane. I think the right lane is going to be because there's people actually getting off there. Anyhow, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get in that lane. Anyway, it's all right. So shut them flashers off so they ain't clicking in the background. But yeah, sci-fi. I love sci-fi, science fiction, adventure, and young adult. I mean, I'm 60 years old, going on 12. You know, and my jokes that I think of and things that I think are funny are stuff that a 12-year-old, maybe, you know, a little younger. I don't know. My mentality ain't always great. And let's see what else. Oh, I was addicted to paranormal romance for a while. If you ever want to get into those series without it being too slutty, and you can think what you want of what slutty might be, but I don't need to hear all the gory details. It's like I'm an old married man. Not necessarily old. I don't think 2 is too old, but I used to think, holy cow, 30 was old. Now I'm double that. But anyhow, yeah, what was I going to say? Something about, oh yeah, the 2 authors that I really like, Kristen Painter and Molly Harper. Now, Molly Harper, in the last few years, she just started, you know, barely doing any work on the books. The sex scenes are getting a little bit deeper. It used to be that it wasn't too graphic. But, yeah, I like to listen to that stuff. Occasionally I'll listen to self-improvement and motivational. I buried myself into that and stuff, but you know, the real like to borrow something from what was I thinking of? Guy Finley. The Guy Finley says, you know, imagination is great. It's really great, but the real budding flower, or something on that order, is action. You gotta, you know, put yourself out there and do some work, and I flash my lights, but I don't have them turned on. So that ain't gonna work. But anyhow, yeah, motivational and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I love marketing. Dan Kennedy, Dan S. Kennedy, to get specific. I was buying books off of YouTube one time, and I was picking up everything that Dan Kennedy put out. I And then there's this one guy that's kind of like a couch potato that put out a book because he could sell the book just because people were buying Dan Kennedy. And you got to be specific on that. Dan S. Kennedy, he writes a ton of pull no punches. This is what you need to do. You know, get out of your own way. Do the right things. He listened to one of his early mentors was Napoleon Hill, and Napoleon Hill, you know, is the king of accurate thinking. You know, it's like, okay, what's going to actually put food on the table? You know, it's like, okay, find yourself a, you know, something that does. You know, it's like a decent job. I put food on the table, but I haven't really gotten rich. I haven't gotten rich at all. But I think we're through that rough patch. So now this guy in a tow truck is thinking he's gonna fucking pull me over and shove me out of the way. I like giving those guys a lesson. Because they haven't met crazy until they fucking come across me. I'm kind of a mean son of a bitch. I'm very vindictive. I don't tolerate fools well. Anyway, but where were we? What else do I like when it comes to audiobooks? Magic. Oh, I love magic. You know, which comes along the line of science fiction and adventure. Yeah, those are pretty interesting books. Space operas. If you really want an interesting one to watch, the Bobbiverse. It's about a guy that is minding his own business. He did well in life. He sold his company to a great big tech firm. He's a software guy, and he goes to his favorite, you know, computer con convention out in Las Vegas, and damn, if right after signing the papers to have his head preserved, the whole cryogenic thing, damned if he doesn't get run over by a car. And so then, yeah, they freeze his head, and next thing he knows, he's waking up inside a cubicle, and all he can see is a wall. And anyway, then this guy comes in and sits down in front of him, and I don't even know if he can blink at that point, but he starts using his voice synthesizer, his speech and stuff, and anyhow, it's really a good book. It's funny. The author, gosh, what is his name? Dennis something. Anyway, it don't matter. I'm not much into the classics. Shakespeare, Macbeth, and all that stuff. I don't think I've ever heard it. I've seen snippets of it, enough to know the Hamlet. Some prince kills his dad, you know. What the hell? But there's a lot of that when it comes to royal stuff. Let me get rid of this gum. Yeah, there's this guy that gosh, my mind went blank for a minute on wizards and stuff. This James Haddock. Really like his writing. You might not, but hey, you know, each to their own. He's got this one book called Wizard's Alley. Any of his wizard books are great. I love them. I just listened to them really recently, and I was thinking, what a creative mind. And and I don't know if he came up with the stuff or borrowed it. Like if you start listening to science fiction, the space operas, you know, one book kind of sounds a little bit like another one. You know, how do you achieve space travel and go from one universe to another? And there's, heck, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. The Albuquerque Drive. Yeah, I know I did. It don't matter. And some of them, you know, they fold space, you know, and then you just jump from one spot to another and forget about all the stuff in between. There's this Black Ocean series. It's like 85 hours for one credit, which is a pretty good deal if you're into space opera. And they actually have magic and space travel combined. These guys are kind of shady space pirate kind of guys. And they have, I don't know if they're called warlocks or not, but they're magicians, you know, that can take you into the deep. Heck, I can't even remember. I think it's maybe time for me to listen to some of that book again. What else? I don't know. And if you're kind of looking more for real life, I listened to this one. It's called My Father's Ashes, and it's really. I was telling my wife about it, and I says, "Yeah, you should listen to it." He says, "You just told me about it," because like I didn't really go into detail big time, but I was talking about it and stuff. And she's like, "Yeah, I don't need to listen to it now that you went into all that detail." And it's like I didn't really go into detail, but hey, you know, she likes to watch what she wants to watch. She's more of a TV watcher, not an audiobook listener. Somebody is trying to teach me to drive. They pass you and they go by you really quick, and then they just kind of camp out on your front door a few miles an hour slower than what you were doing, supposedly to teach you a lesson. But the only lesson it teaches me is there's still no lack of assholes. There's plenty of them. Yeah, there's so many drivers out there that try to do that stuff, like that tow truck guy that, I mean, he's in my lane coming past me, you know, because I don't drive on one lane or the other. I try to drive right in the middle lane, you know, not gouge anybody too much. Occasionally I get a little close, you know, hey, but hey, these new trucks like this, I mean, I don't know if you can listen or not, but yeah, there it is. It does it right in your ear, and it does it on the side of the truck in the speaker that you're going to. So it's like, okay, that was the left lane that I went over. I'll do it again. Anyhow, but it's like if I put my blinker on and there's a car beside me, you know, it'll make noise. And if I'm driving past a guardrail, there's a little light over on that side that says, hey, there's something over there. Like a second ago, it was on red, and that's to let me know there was a truck coming up beside me. Really technologically advanced. They've got radar on the front of these things. I know I'm scatterbrained talking about a ton of stuff, but I don't care. I just want to blab, talk my mouth off or stuff here. Anyway, they got that radar on the front, and I'm in a Kenworth right now. This load is taking me to Memphis. My truck, Freightliner, it broke down. They got this new stuff out, and from what I understand, it's made out of pig urine. It's called DEF. I can't think what the D part of the fluid part, DEF, stands for, but probably don't eat. Anyway, but yeah, this truck, it just gives you shit about being too close. It'll make some noise, you know, hey, you're too close. My Freightliner, not only does it tell me that I'm too close, it tells me how fast the vehicle in front of me is going. And both systems are designed to apply the brakes on the vehicle. Not a lot, but enough that you don't want to be running your cruise control in the wintertime in icy or snow-packed areas, because it'll camp out on them 30%. You know, 30% is quite a bit when you're on ice. Yeah. Anyway, these big companies, they like to dictate how fast you can go down the road. JB Hunt, they might have been 62, and it's funny, they gave me crap one time. Mike, for some reason you're saying back then I was driving all like 10 speeds. Anyway, they say, Mike, why are you in ninth gear so much? I mean, you're excessively in ninth gear. Well, I didn't tell them, but ninth gear, I could go 3 miles an hour faster than 10th gear because just the way they had it set up, you know. And this truck, in November, the main company had a new company to them. I transferred to their division because they're doing away kind of with Transport America, bringing them into the fold. But like I said, the main company is out of Canada. Transplays, heck, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where I was going, but I'll get there. I need to take a drink. I need to wipe off my upper lip because I splashed it all over. Anyway, but yeah, they're owned by a company out of Canada, but it's CFI, Consolidated Freighters. They've got their trucks set at 65. My Freightliner's set at 65. In December, I was training a kid, and really nice kid, but I don't know how much he ever drove a car, you know. And he'd get behind the steering wheel. As soon as he put it in gear, you'd watch his face. He'd just get all like he was scared, and his eyes would glaze over. He didn't look left, he didn't look right. I mean, he's like driving scared. And I told the company a day and a half or so after he was in the truck that man, this is not a good deal. I mean, except I'm a Christian, or I want to be, or something. But it's like he's got me wanting to change my religion, you know, because his driving scares me. It's only been a day and a half, you know, give it a little more time. In 2 more weeks, it was my leaving, taking a week off at the Christmas time. You know, and it's like I just took the rest of that time. I did what I could to teach him and train him. But I looked for a job because it's like I got all this time, so I applied with Crete carriers. They're out of part of I don't know. But they got a lot of trucks. They're one of the big ones too. 5,000, 8,000, I don't know. Anyway, it's like, you know, I was hoping to switch to a company that had less, but I also applied at Walmart, and all I needed to do is show up and do my my physical for either company, and drive. And Walmart, they've got an onboarding process. They want me to show them that I know how to inspect a truck. Plus, they want to ride with me for 2 weeks. So I don't want to sleep in the top bunk. It's not a very thick mattress. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to spend 2 weeks with the guy or guys. I mean, I've hauled lots of Walmart loads. We work these jobs they called pop-ups, and we'll go to wherever. I've worked in Smyrna. That's a weird spelled name. S-M-Y-R-N-A, Delaware, Smyrna, Delaware. I worked that job. I worked up in